Why is it that the word masturbation often stirs discomfort, especially when linked to women? This is a question that needs to be addressed head-on, without the shroud of shame or embarrassment. In our society, the concept of female masturbation is shrouded in mystery, often treated as an unspoken taboo. It's a topic that is ignored, shamed, and discouraged. But why is that? We live in a society where certain norms dictate our conversations, and sadly, these norms often discourage open discussions about female masturbation. On one hand, we have male masturbation, which, although private, is openly acknowledged and sometimes even joked about. It's seen as a natural act, a part of growing up, a part of being a man. But when it comes to women, the narrative changes drastically. Female masturbation is often seen as something dirty or shameful. It's talked about in hushed whispers, if at all. It's seen as an act of rebellion, a deviation from the norms. Women who openly admit to masturbating are often labeled as easy or desperate. This double standard is not only unfair, but also damaging. It fosters a culture of silence and shame around female sexuality and pleasure. But here's the thing. Masturbation is a healthy, natural act. It's a way for women to explore their bodies, to understand what they like and what they don't. It's a way for them to take control of their sexuality, to feel empowered. It's an act of self-love, not shame. And yet, the societal norms cage this conversation, keeping it hidden in the shadows. This has to change. We need to normalize discussions about female masturbation, just like we do for men. We need to create a safe space where women can talk about their experiences, their doubts, and their questions without the fear of being judged or shamed. A change in societal perception begins with open discussions, just like this one. We need to break the silence, shatter the taboo, and start the conversation. It's high time we did. After all, it's only through open, honest dialogue that we can foster understanding, acceptance, and change. Do you know that female masturbation isn't just about sexual satisfaction? It's a question that might surprise many, but it's an essential one. Let's delve deeper and unveil the numerous benefits that female masturbation offers. Firstly, it's a fantastic stress buster. In today's world, where life is a constant hustle, who wouldn't appreciate a natural, cost-free way to ease the tension? When a woman masturbates, the body releases endorphins, known as feel-good hormones, helping to reduce stress and enhance mood. It's like a mini vacation for your brain, right in the comfort of your own home. Now imagine a night of sound, uninterrupted sleep. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, masturbation can help with that too. The relaxation that follows an orgasm can significantly improve sleep quality, helping women feel more rested and rejuvenated. Another benefit that's not often discussed is how masturbation can alleviate menstrual cramps. Many women experience painful periods, and masturbation can help alleviate this discomfort. The muscle contractions during an orgasm can help ease menstrual pain, making those days of the month a little more bearable. But the benefits of female masturbation aren't just physical. It's a journey of self-discovery, a way for women to understand their bodies better. By exploring what feels good, women can enhance their sexual experiences, both alone and with their partners. It can build sexual confidence and foster a healthier relationship with one's body, breaking the shackles of societal norms and expectations. Moreover, it's an act of self-love and self-care. It's about taking control of one's body and pleasure, which can be empowering and liberating. It's about celebrating female sexuality, not shaming it. So, it's time to shift the conversation around female masturbation. It's time to acknowledge and normalize it, to embrace the multitude of benefits it offers. Because when women understand their bodies and their desires, they can communicate them better, leading to fulfilling sexual experiences and healthier relationships. Understanding and accepting the benefits of female masturbation can be a game changer. It's a path towards a more open, accepting society where female pleasure isn't a taboo, but a topic of regular, healthy conversation. Remember Swara Bhaskar's groundbreaking scene from Viridi Wedding? It was a moment that left many viewers in shock, not because it was inappropriate or cringeworthy, but because it was a rare sight in Bollywood. A raw, unfiltered display of female sexual desire. It was a scene that dared to break the silence that has long shrouded the topic of female sexuality in Indian cinema. Bollywood, the world's largest film industry, has a vast influence on Indian society. Yet it has largely remained silent on the subject of female sexuality. More often than not, women in our films are portrayed as objects of male desire, their own sexual desires left unexplored or outright ignored. A few films, however, have dared to challenge this narrative. Astitva, Lipstick Under My Burqa, Parched, and Fire, to name a few, have bravely tackled the subject of female sexuality. They have shown us that women, like men, have sexual desires and needs, and there's nothing shameful or scandalous about it. These films have started an important conversation, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. The silence of Bollywood on female sexuality is reflective of the larger societal silence. It perpetuates the notion that female sexual desires are unimportant or non-existent. This silence is not just problematic, it's harmful. It denies women their right to sexual pleasure and contributes to the stigma and shame surrounding female masturbation. But the tide is slowly turning. Swara Bhaskar's scene in Veere Di Wedding is a testament to that change. It has sparked conversations and debates, leading to a gradual shift in the way we perceive female sexuality. Yet we still have a long way to go. We need more films that depict female sexual desires and needs, not as something to be shamed or hidden away, but as a normal and healthy aspect of human life. We need to break the silence not just in our films but in our society as well. It's time for more conversations and portrayals of female sexuality in our media. Why are women's sexual needs overlooked in our society? Let's dive into the murky waters of the patriarchal perspective on female sexuality. Traditionally, in our society, women are seen as passive participants in sexual interactions, their desires often ignored or suppressed under the heavy weight of male dominancy. This view, deeply ingrained in our collective psyche, plays a significant role in the shaming of female masturbation. The patriarchal perspective, which sadly still prevails, tends to reduce women to mere objects of male desire, their bodies seen as tools for procreation and male pleasure, rather than entities that can and should experience pleasure themselves. This outdated viewpoint not only strips women of their sexual agency, but also creates an environment where female masturbation is seen as abnormal or even immoral. In this patriarchal narrative, the concept of mutual sexual satisfaction is often swept under the rug. The idea of sex as a shared experience where both parties have rights to pleasure and satisfaction is overshadowed by a one-sided narrative that places men as the primary beneficiaries of the act. This skewed perspective has far-reaching consequences. It perpetuates harmful stereotypes, fuels body shaming, and fosters an environment where female pleasure is seen as a taboo topic, not to be discussed openly. This, in turn, creates a space where women feel embarrassed or guilty about self-exploration and self-pleasure, further widening the gap between the sexes when it comes to sexual satisfaction. But it's high time we challenge these archaic views. We need to shift the narrative and place equal emphasis on female pleasure. We need to dismantle the idea that female masturbation is a hush-hush topic and bring it into mainstream conversations. Sexual satisfaction isn't just about fulfilling physical needs, it's about embracing and understanding one's body and desires. It's about feeling comfortable in one's skin and having the freedom to explore one's sexuality without shame or fear of judgment. In the end, it's important to remember that sexual satisfaction isn't a privilege for one gender. It's a right for all. How can we break the silence and stop shaming female masturbation? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Well, the first step is starting a dialogue. We need to create safe spaces where women feel comfortable to discuss their sexual needs openly without fear of judgment or shame. We need to encourage women to share their experiences, their doubts, and their discoveries. Let's normalize these conversations among women and with their partners. It's important to remember that these discussions are not just about masturbation. They are about understanding and acknowledging female sexuality, about recognizing that women, too, have sexual needs and desires, and it's perfectly normal and healthy. But opening up conversations is just the tip of the iceberg. We need to educate ourselves and others about female sexuality. We need to understand that it's not something to be shamed or hidden away. It's a part of who we are. It's about time we stopped treating it like a dirty secret to be whispered in hushed tones. Education and awareness are key. We need comprehensive sexual education that includes discussions about female masturbation. This education should not only be limited to schools, but should also be incorporated into our daily lives. We need books, movies, TV shows, and even songs that talk about it openly and honestly. We also need to challenge the societal norms that have been ingrained in us. We need to question the messages we've been fed about female sexuality and masturbation. We need to reject the idea that it's something to be ashamed of or something that's only for men. We need to empower women to take control of their own bodies and their own pleasure. We need to let women know that it's okay to explore their bodies, to discover what feels good, and to seek out pleasure on their own terms. And most importantly, we need to support each other. We need to stand up against the shaming and the stigma. We need to create a culture where female masturbation is seen as a normal, healthy part of being a woman. It's time to challenge societal norms and stop shaming female masturbation. Let's normalize these conversations and embrace our sexuality.